Gil Martin here. The Locked On road to the NHL trade deadline continues. The Washington Capitals making a move. The Capitals sending Erik Gustaffson and a 2023 first-round pick to the Maple Leafs in exchange for defenseman Rasmus Sandin. And with me, Dan Holmi of Locked On Capitals. Dan, your thoughts about this deal?
Well, I mean, look at it. We knew that Erik Gustaffson was on the last year of his deal. Ultimately, Gustaffson wanted to stay in Washington, but I think the Capitals just saw the Sandin deal as being too good to pass up on. He has some good offensive upside. From what I hear, he's playing on the third pairing. This Capitals team, if you take a look at it, all the blue line except for John Carlson is an unrestricted free agent, so it only stands to reason that it's a good move for them to try to solidify the blue line going forward.
Were you surprised that a first-round pick was sent to Toronto after the Capitals made some moves that made it look like they were in rebuild mode?
Yeah, a bit of mixed messages, I guess you got to say. When they picked up those draft picks, when they sent Hathaway and Orlov to Boston, to your point, I thought this is the beginning of the rebuild mode. This is the beginning of the future. And then they're parting with that first round pick. It is a bit upsetting for me that they decided to do that, because it does seem like, I hear all the time that this team wants to get younger. They want to get faster. And then they make this move today that kind of leaves more questions than it does answers.
Yeah, no question about that. How do you see Sandin fitting into the Washington lineup?
Well, I mean, take a look at it. John Carlson is out of the lineup right now. There's no timetable on his return. And then, of course, Gustaffson is no longer going to be there, so he's going to slot in there. Listen, I mean, it's 2 years on his deal. So it's not like it's a rental deal for the Capitals. It is someone that's going to help solidify the blue line for at least the next couple of years, unless, I guess, they have plans of moving him on the trade deadline. I guess it remains to be seen. This might just be some creative posturing by Brian McClellan.
You talked about being surprised that first round draft pick went to Toronto. Now you're bringing in a player. What, if anything, can we expect from the Capitals between now and Friday at 3:00 Eastern time?
Listen, just based on their recent play, it's my belief that they are sellers at this point. The message around the locker room, especially TJ Oshie and all those guys, is that, they want to win. They're veteran players, and it's not like they're just going to lay over and play dead. They still want to make a push for the cup. But ultimately, I don't think they have what it takes in the tank right now to make a big push. If they do make any moves, I see them trying to stockpile more draft picks or draft capital so they can, try to make this team younger and faster. That is the trend going forward. As it stands, the Capitals are the oldest team in the NHL. I know that changes a bit from time to time, but ultimately to stay competitive with the younger teams in the NHL, that is what they're going to have to do.
And any thoughts as to who may be a candidate to be moved to get younger and faster and get more picks?
Right. So in Elliot Friedman's 32 Thoughts podcast, he talked about moving Lars Eller and potentially Nick Jensen. Nick Jensen, of course, is also on the blue line. So, I mean, as much as they would like to keep a lot of those guys on this team, I could see them moving on from someone like Nick Jensen. Again, another expiring contract. Same goes for Lars Eller, a really great center that I think could help another team out there. Ultimately, I don't see the Capitals re-signing Lars Eller at this point, but I've heard that there's some other teams kind of kicking the tires on him, so to speak, Toronto and New Jersey in particular.
Well, be interesting to see, and we will certainly keep an eye on that. Be sure to check out Locked On Capitals for more on all these potential moves and everything Washington Capitals, and keep it dialed into Locked On NHL all along the road to the NHL trade deadline. This is the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.